I moved to Santa Clarita in 1993 and have absolutely loved it. I love the sense of community and the sense of the fact that a lot of people live here, especially when you meet them and they are kind of famous. I mean, that's a really awesome thing. Here with us, this morning, first of all, he's been an actor for many, many years. Been featured, of course, on shows like General Hospital, has some other things coming up as well. Brian Presley, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Now, we also have George Creamer from Warrior Football. You're here we're here to talk, of course, a little bit about your career, Brian, but also to talk about the event coming up tomorrow. That's the Pacific Youth Football League, the PYFL. That's the Super Bowl coming to College of the Canyons tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're George and I are two head coaches in the Warrior football program here in Santa Clarita. That it's probably the largest youth football program up here in Santa Clarita. And tomorrow is a big day for the kids. George's team and my team made it to the Super Bowl, and it'll be played over here at COC. So we, should have a good crowd.
Now this is something where, of course, this is extracurricular outside of school. What are we talking age range of the players?
Well, on my Bantam team, that's the level that I'm at. I have kids from 9 to 10 and a half years old that are on there. So.
And we're talking about the future of Santa Clarita High School football, right? We're talking about getting ready for that. So these are kids who are pretty serious about the game, but also building teamwork, and also just kind of getting all that extra energy shaken off, right?
Well, yeah, we focused. We bring the kids out. It is a game of football, but at the same time, we're still trying to deliver a message of discipline and maturity, and they find all that stuff on the football field. So the kids do really well. And
you find that kind of keeps them focused on other areas of their lives, whether it's being school or personal behavior outside of school, or family, things like that?
Well, me personally as a coach, they don't have an option. If their schoolwork, and I always tell my kids, I will hear about it. You do something in school, I will hear about it, and you will stand by while the rest of your team pays for it. So they'll run, and the one that maybe got in trouble gets to sit there and watch the rest of his team. So,
and if they fall behind in school, we'll have them bring their schoolwork to practice, and they'll sit over there during practice and work on their schoolwork first before they're able to come out and practice.
Well, I think it's important, and in setting this up, especially for the rest of their lives, these lessons they learn at this age, it's a lot easier than waiting to your midlife crisis when you're 40 to kind of figure all that stuff out, right?
That's what I love about the game of football is, it teaches life, and, life ain't easy, as they say, so.
Well, that's true. Let's talk about the event tomorrow. Now, this is going at College of the Canyons, and if I'm not mistaken, it starts at 8 a.m. This is an all-day event, so are we talking about multiple games being played?
Yes, we have 4 Warrior teams that are in the Super Bowl, so it starts at 8 a.m. and that will be what they call the Gremlins, which is 6 and 7-year-olds. And then there's PWYs, which is my team. We're 8 and 9-year-olds. We're at 10:15. And then at 12:30 are the Bantams, which is George's team, which are 9, 10, and some 11-year-olds. And then we also have a Warrior midget team that will be at 2:30. So it goes all through the evening. The final game is at 7:15.
Wow. So
it encompasses the league teams from Palmdale, Lancaster, all the way out to Ventura, Oxnard. It's a wide range of teams.
So this is the big deal. So the winners of tomorrow's event, is that it then, or is there the international championships? So they go play the Japanese team afterwards, or anything like that? Like what they do in baseball.
I haven't seen Japanese football.
Yeah,
that would be interesting. I don't know. I think we just came up with an idea. We could pencil this out afterwards. But so this is tomorrow. This is a great event. Now, is there admission, or is this something that is it a free event, or how does this work?
It's a free event, and there'll be some great football throughout the day. It'll be competitive, and I still get amazed at all ages when you see what some of these kids can do and the level of football that they're playing. At the youth level, it's pretty impressive.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how long you guys have been doing this. So, George, how long have you been involved in Warrior Football?
I have probably 5 years now, and with the team that I have now, the 24 kids that I have now, I still have 6 original kids that I've had since they were 5 years old.
Wow. Any of them gone on to high school football or any other?
Because I'm still at this
Still
this
at that
lower level.
And what about you, Brian?
I've been with the Warrior program for 3 years, and I grew up in West Texas, in the heart of like Friday Night Lights, and Oklahoma, and went
It's
to
huge out there. I mean, it's huge
Big.
here, but that's a major community events.
No,
taking place.
that's the thing. Football is about community, and especially at high school football, youth football, and that's why we gravitated towards when about 5 years ago we moved up here to Valencia, and that's the thing that I just found. Everybody's going to high school football games on a Friday night.
That's true. We broadcast them live here as well.
Yeah.
So, and talking about that, we've got some sports people from the SCV who have gone on to some major things. So it's a pretty big deal out here.
It is.
So that's terrific. So again, this is the Pacific Youth Football League. It's the Super Bowl. It's the SCVAA event tomorrow. It's College of the Canyon starting 8 o'clock, going to 7. Bring sunscreen. Plan to stay for the whole event if you can, not just if your students are on the team, but also or your kids, I should say, are on the team. Stick around for the event. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk more with Brian and George. And I want to talk a little bit more about your career, Brian, because as an actor and a working actor and continuing to do so, having the time to do this with the kids, I think is really super cool. So we'll be right back. We'll take a traffic update and be right back after this. This is your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
You've seen them on Spike TV's Bar Rescue. Now experience the Cajun Belle in Canyon Country. The Cajun Belle, a terrific mix of SoCal Creole and the most flavorful handmade cocktails in our valley. It's the happening place. Wednesday features $1 pizza slices with blues and classic rock. Thursdays, it's karaoke night and all-night happy hour featuring $1 tacos. Friday is ladies' night with the coolest DJ in town. Live cover bands every weekend. The Cajun Belle on Soledad, opposite the Canyon Country Post Office.
Kick off the holiday season with the festive Light Up Main Street celebration in Old Town Newhall on Saturday, November 19th. The evening is full of holiday performances beginning at 6 p.m. At 7 p.m., the City Council will turn on the lights and transform Main Street into a magnificent winter wonderland. Don't miss your chance to visit Santa and Mrs. Claus and indulge in delicious food from a variety of food trucks. This year's event will exceed expectations by being bigger, better, and brighter. For event details, including parking and shuttle information, visit oldtownnewhall.com.
8:18 on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm George Cummings. Taking a look at traffic. Here we go. It's been pretty quiet. Friday morning light, as we call it. 14 freeway coming out of the Antelope Valley all the way down to the Newhall Pass. Pretty good. There are some wind advisories. In fact, in the canyons and passes, be very careful around those high-profile vehicles. Otherwise, the 5 freeway, we're still seeing some delays in that corridor between the 118 and the 170 split. Get a little teeny relief south of Osborne Street, and then again we're seeing delays just south of Sheldon all the way through Burbank into the East LA interchange. We have the 170 also still slow from Sherman Way through the Universal City area, downtown Hollywood delayed from Sunset Boulevard south. So give plenty of time for your close-up. 405, we got delays in Sherman Way to the top of the Sepulveda Pass. Love your traffic tips. 298 KHTS, 298-5487. We're back with my in-studio guests. We have actor Brian Presley and Deputy Sheriff George Creamer. We didn't really talk about your career. Interestingly enough, a little ironic, I actually interviewed the sheriff, Jim McDonald, yesterday for an event that's coming up tomorrow, the DRPO, that's the Desert Peace Officers event. So it was kind of interesting because I didn't realize he was calling in. I'm like, oh, I felt like I had to straighten up and make sure that my record was clean, But now let's talk a little bit first about you. How long have you been a sheriff?
I've worked for the Sheriff's Department for 28 years now,
Wow.
and I promoted to sergeant last year.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm working up in Palmdale right now, and before that I spent about 15 years on the SWAT team.
Wow.
So, and then, patrol, regular stuff like that. But it's been a great 28 years.
And finding the time in between all that to not only coach football, but become the head coach for Warrior Football is pretty amazing. So my hat's off to you. And of course, Brian Presley, you have an acting career going back, it looks like about almost 20 years or so, right?
Yeah, I came out here, I was around 20 years old. So I'm approaching 40, so it's been it's been a long haul.
Now, were you one of those just got on the road and came out and wanted to make it in Hollywood type
I went
situation?
to University of Arkansas to play football, and ended up leaving there and coming out this way after I finished at University of Arkansas, and had a few breaks early on in my career and did a McDonald's commercial, and I said, I'm not going back, and slowly started working on TV shows and kind of finding the way.
There it is, and that's a schedule that can be kind of rough too, depending upon what's going on and what projects are happening. So the fact that you have time to coach Warrior football as well, and you've got something coming up. Is that right? I think with Kurt Russell. Is that right?
I did a project, a football movie with Kurt Russell called Touchback, and then most recently did a film called the USS Indianapolis, which is a true story about when the Japanese sunk the USS Indianapolis, that in War II.
Right.
So, it was a tragedy, but you take it with a grain of salt. You can't. There's a lot of people in that industry that take themselves way too seriously, and for me, I love being involved in the football stuff, community. My hat's off to guys like George.
Yeah.
And what they do, and supporting our troops, supporting our first responders, and that's what I love about this community up here in Valencia is it is very supportive of that.
Exactly, and also wanted to talk about. First of all, really quickly, what part of West Texas are you from?
I grew up in Midland, Odessa, and then I moved to Oklahoma when I was in junior high.
Oh, okay.
But
I have family from Lubbock, so I always have to ask that question. So,
Gary Gaines,
there it is.
Friday Night Lights. He was my dad's high school football coach.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day.
So we're talking again with you guys are in here about the Pacific Youth Football League. It's the Super Bowl event tomorrow for Warrior football, and we've got ages from like 5 and 6 years old up to what's the age of the players?
13, 14,
okay.
Yeah.
So pre-high school, but these are the future of SCV football, and you guys are really, really involved. And tell me a little bit. We were talking off the air. This is an official announcement you're making about running for the board. Is that the deal? Do we need a drum roll or something here? Because
to have these organizations keep going on. I mean, Warriors has been going on for over 50 years, and it takes a lot of volunteer hours, and so every year there's always new people coming in and people transitioning out, and so we have teams that are relatively young and have another 3 to 4 years left, and so we're gonna. It's time to pay our dues, and it's as good as what you make it, and it's really not about us. It's about the kids, and making sure the kids have a healthy environment to learn the game of football, and a safe environment. There's a lot of dysfunction in youth athletics, and there's a lot of kids need to be, probably the biggest thing I see is kids need to be matched up correctly, because it's such a physical sport, and sometimes we'll have weight differences of 80 pounds, and at a youth level that's a big gap.
Exactly. The same age could be a completely different set of circumstances. It's probably why I never was in football. I was always
Well, the parents are always, that's one of the main concerns for parents. Parents are always concerned for safety, so we're just going to kind of make sure that's kind of a priority there.
Well, that is absolutely terrific. Again, the Super Bowl event tomorrow, SCVAA Warrior Football. And what's the name of your team that you're coaching, George?
We're the Bantam Chiefs.
Bantam Chiefs, and
we're the Santa Clarita Warriors.
Santa Clarita Warriors, outstanding. Tomorrow, COC, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., an all-day event. What else do we want to? Is there any final things you want to talk about really quickly?
Well, I think just to kick off on what Brian was saying, just that that we do have a little bit more time left with a bunch of kids, and so we were going to take the time to, Brian's going to run for the president of the board,
right?
And I'm going to assist him with the vice president. So we're just kind of hoping we can get in there and do our time and make a couple changes that we want to do, and and see where the league takes us.
Well, I think that's great, and being on the board is almost kind of a different world, because you are responsible for those decisions that are made on behalf of everybody, and that's a even equally as much, if not more, of a responsibility than coaching in between your busy schedules. I think that's awesome what you guys are doing for the kids.
Yeah, and in the current board, I mean, they're spending endless hours on making sure this event tomorrow is going off with a bang, and there's a lot of great people in the Warrior organization, and we're happy to be a part of it.
Well, I think that's terrific. Brian Presley and George Creamer, head coaches of the Warriors, head coaches of the Bantam Chiefs. This is Super Bowl, SCVAA Super Bowl Championship Pacific Youth Football League, the PYFL, tomorrow starting 8 a.m. Call it to the Candies. Come out and support the local kids and what they're doing and cheer them on. Thanks so much, guys, for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
8:26, another look at traffic coming up next.